thank you for being here with Indiedischi. Thank you very much. Now we are touring with your band for your new DVD, Roots and Wings, beautiful compact. And but back in the days when you were young, when you started with playing guitar, what was your approach to the instrument?
Well, when I was really young, I would just pick it up and start playing it. You know, that was it. My father showed me some chords, and I always wanted to. I started to take lessons in jazz, so I wanted to learn more chords, and I wanted to learn some things a little bit different than just rock and roll. So I think that became my approach. Blues was always the basis for everything. Then from blues, went off into rock and jazz, and then it kind of became this style that I like, whatever mix of styles it is.
Okay. Well, do you think that it's important for a musician to read music?
Reading music, I think, is very important, and it always depends on what you're going to do. If you want to work with other people, it's very important. If you want to learn something new and have a quick way to do it, and if you ever want to play in an orchestra or a big group or something, it's really important, I think. Very useful.
Right.
If you just want to do your own thing and you have your own band and your own studio, then maybe for you it's not important. I think it's different for everybody, but I think it's important. It's also good for the brain. It's like learning a new language, so it's good. Yeah. It's good for your health.
Good. Well, you play with a lot of great bands all around the world. Do you change your gear, or it's basically always the same?
I'll change a little bit, yeah. Marshalls are my number one go-to, yeah. But sometimes, like with Huey Lewis and the News in the States, I use a Fender DeVille's. Now the Fender DeVille is great because it's just like a classic old Fender Bassman combo, but it has some effects loop, so if you want to put something, delay or reverb in the loop, it makes it a little bit more modern. And so I use those a lot, and those are my two main amps.
Okay. Well, now you're been in the music business for quite some time now. Do you think it's changed during the years? What's the state of the music business now?
For sure, it's changed a lot because the internet, and so the internet changed the world. You know. Yeah. A few things for a lot better, and a lot of things for a lot worse. So the magic of when you get to go and hear a record for the first time is gone now because it's already been all over. And so it's really difficult for musicians to sell their art, or artists to sell their music, and it's difficult for live music because people are happy to stay at home, watch a video on YouTube, and they don't go out as much. But it still seems that, people are going out, and that's a good thing. It's still, especially if it's an artist, maybe you always wanted to see, or you want to see them if they're artists from the 70s and 80s, or bands like that, or that. I'm glad that people are going out to see their favorite bands and not let them just disappear,
That's important. It's really important. Well, in your opinion, is there a good aspect or is there a bad aspect of being a musician? Is there something?
Sure, there is. Yeah, I mean, it always depends on what your situation is. Just like any work you do, anything you do in your life, it's going to have difficult direction, and it all depends on how you are as a person. How you are in life. If you're happy, you're going to be happy doing whatever you want. Being a musician specifically for me, I love it. I love everything about it. I love travel. I love. I like airplanes and hotels. It's strange, I like performing on stage more than anything. The only bad part is you have to be away from your family. You can't always bring your family with you on the road, and that's the only difficult thing. It's always been my complaint. I try to minimize as much as possible my time away from home. And when my boys were smaller, and now my daughter is 5, so it's like that's my only complaint. It's challenging.
Well, changing argument. What's your opinion about the TV shows like The Voice or The X Factor? Do you think they're useful for music or what?
I would say no. They're not useful. I can only tell you from my personal, I don't like them. I don't watch it. I don't find it interesting. I don't care about what those judges think about that person there. You know, I like music that I like, and I like singers that I like, and that's it. So, but whether or not it's useful, maybe it is, because singers are getting exposure. That's useful, but I don't like it.
Okay. Thank you. Well, you started recording a lot of instrumental music, and now you are also recording songs with, you know, you are singing now. So what's your approach to composition? How does it change?
Approach to composition for me hasn't changed too much. I basically start with a riff, some kind of a riff, right? And then from there it will start to blossom into a song. I might try with something that's maybe a chorus, try to put a verse on it, or something that's a verse, try to put a chorus on it. Then I'll start to sing, just humming something.
Okay.
You know, just whatever, fake words. And then from there, I'll try to feel like, what does this song sound like it's about? And then I'll start to write lyrics that maybe fits in with that. It's very different from other artists I know. They can sing a melody and a lyric at the same time.
Wow.
And write a song. I'm always so impressed with that. I don't know how they do it. So mine is more of a work process, you know. it's like one thing at a time, like that.
Well, is there an artist you love to play with?
Oh, I've said it before in other interviews, but Paul McCartney, of course, would be was my number one guy to want to play with. I get to play Beatles songs with Paul McCartney. Other than that, Steely Dan, would love to do a Steely Dan, or I think those two.
Well, tomorrow you are going to play for a great event, the Rockade for Amatrice, and you are going also to play next week also an instrumental, lesson, a guitar lesson.
Right.
So, do you like teaching?
I do like it. I especially like in a clinic, guitar clinic atmosphere, where you have each time is a different kind of a group of people. So you get different kinds of questions. It makes me think and makes me try to come up with a new approach of teaching, and especially if there's kids in there, I really like that, because I love to see them, they are starting to get alive in music, and I think that's really important.
Well, practical advice. You now played a lot of gigs all around the world. Do you have a practical advice for all the musicians to face the crowd, to survive a gig?
I think, well, the first thing is, I would say be prepared. So if you got your sound together and you rehearsed, then that's all you need. The rest of it is just confidence. And don't be afraid. When it's time to sing, get on that microphone. If you're afraid that you're going to be out of tune, you get back. I used to do that all the time. Now, maybe I'm still out of tune, but it doesn't matter, because you are confident. So you need confidence and need to go out there. When it's your turn, hit that pedal, go up, do a solo. Whatever it is, confidence is it. But if you're not prepared, then you don't have the confidence.
That's good. Well, what's on your iPad? What music can you suggest us to listen?
I have a real mix of stuff. I have sometimes I'm listening to a song by Leroy Bell, who's from Seattle, and he gave me a CD because he was performing with us with Huey Lewis and the News, and I really like his stuff. And I tend to listen to a lot of my old stuff. I still have, like, Steely Dan comes up a lot, and classic rock stuff, you know, from 70s and 90s. I had Peter Gabriel "So" coming up on my iPad the other day. It's one of my favorite artists. So it just kind of depends. It's kind of a mix like that, I think, you know.
Okay, last question. What are your next projects? What are you working on?
Well, right now, I am going to just be working on an album with a new band. That should be, I'll tell you more about it later, but it's hopefully will come out next year. And it's an American rock band.
Oh, great.
With some people that are famous. So it's going to be a really fun band.
Wow.
And so we're looking forward to finishing this record. And then I'll still be doing, I look forward to more writing with Stef Burns League and make another album with that band after this next one. And still Vasco Rossi, Huey Lewis and the News, bands that I still love and adore and play with. And so that's it. And try to find a break in between to stay with my family.
Yeah. Well, it will be a busy year, but we will be there. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you as well. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.